So protocol, this is the work that you're transitioning from acting and theatre and that industry. So let's talk about protocol. What is it?
At its core, it's like an adult reset system, I suppose, all based on lived experiences. It's all things that I've developed and learnt that I want to share with people. I am proof that what I'm writing about works because I am doing really, really well. I've never had a sustained period like I have done over the last 6 months where I wake up every single day and I feel excited about the day ahead and I feel grateful and I can't wait to get started. I know I've had moments, we've all experienced moments of that. But to have a sustained period of that, it throws up a lot of questions because you're like, right, well, what am I doing right? What am I doing right? How is this kind of happening? And as I said earlier in the show, I'd started writing about some of these things and kind of getting some core sort of principles down. The main one, my main focus, what I really love talking about is self-trust. That's become a real pillar of my work on protocol, is becoming someone that you can trust, becoming reliable to yourself. I think a lot of us humans, we constantly break little promises to ourselves every single day. We tell ourselves that we're going to go to the gym and we don't. We say we're going to order a salad instead of the chips and we don't. We say we're going to start the business or the side hustle or learn the language or whatever it is. And we break these little promises and we tell ourselves that we're just putting it off and we'll do it tomorrow or we'll do it next week or whatever. And we don't think it's that important. I am living proof that shit matters and it compounds. And the more little promises you break to yourself, the harder it is when it comes to the big decisions because you just don't trust yourself. You don't have any reliability. So that's kind of one of the core sort of aspects of protocol is trying to encourage people to be accountable for themselves and just to start really, really small. With tiny little promises. For me, when I was using a lot of drugs and drinking and having late nights and stuff, getting up in the morning was just a nightmare. Every day would start with, I'm running late and I'm on social media and I'm stressed and I'm anxious and, all of that kind of stuff. I didn't have any sort of structure in place. For me, it was just standing up. I just stood up. I made a conscious decision, right, tomorrow when my alarm goes off, I'm going to set my alarm early and I'm just going to stand up. I keep that one promise to myself, just stand up. So I stood up. And I felt really awkward and I felt really uncomfortable. And I was like, right, now what do I do? Well, I'm up now, so I might as well try and keep another promise to myself. It's this repeat. Jordan Peterson talks about trying to help people change their lives and through his therapy. And he talks about, this guy who's got this really messy bedroom and he's like, right, make a promise to yourself that on day one, you're just going to get the Hoover out of the cupboard. You're not going to do anything with the Hoover. You're just going to get the Hoover out of the cupboard. And then the next day, you're going to turn the Hoover on. You're not going to Hoover, but you're just going to turn it on. And it's kind of similar to that in a sense, but it's sustaining that, because one of the things that I've learned is that we can't rely on motivation, especially men, but women as well. We can listen to inspirational podcasts. We can shout affirmations in the mirror. We can, do all of these things, sign up for a new PT, get a gym membership, all of this stuff, but it all requires motivation. And this is why I don't think a lot of the self-help stuff worked for me, because motivation is transient. It is affected with mood and with sleep and with hormones and all stress and, work commitments, all kinds of stuff is the reason why people don't stick to things. So so part of protocol is kind of removing motivation from it. And just keeping tiny little promises to yourself that barely need any thought. Right, I'm not going to go on my phone for the first hour of the day. That I'm going to keep that promise to myself. I'm just not going to go on doom scroll, wake up and, be bombarded with other people's problems and loud noises. And I'm not going to do that, right? It's a small promise I can keep. And these things compound and they don't really require much motivation. So protocol's kind of it's almost post self-help, really. A lot of the language I use is quite masculine anyway. I'm trying to push against that because I want it to appeal to women as well. I don't want it to be just for men. But naturally, a lot of the language around systems and around structure and direction does feel very masculine. So I am trying to push against that. But I just think I think I've hit upon something quite important, and I feel incredibly fulfilled with what I'm doing. And as I said at the top of this section, you know, I am living proof that this works. I am someone that I can trust. That is an incredibly powerful thing to know, that whatever happens, whatever choices I make, whatever difficulties I'm thrown with, right, I don't need to panic. I don't need to freak out. I don't need to burn my entire life down, because I know I can handle it, because I've got a body of evidence that I've built up over the last 18 months that says I can trust myself to deal with anything. It's powerful stuff, man. And the feedback I've been getting, it's been fantastic from people, you know, really relating, really resonating with my work, with my newsletter and my essays and stuff. Put a new life